Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Right. So we're still doing this hadith here. Man malaka da rahmin mahram minhu utika alayh. Right. So we say this word with its umumiyat, right? It includes every karabat which assists uh, being a mahram, right? Whether that karabat is via your usul and your wilad, you understand? Going up straight from you or going down straight from you, or whether it's other relatives also, as long as they a relative and they're mahram. For Shafi rahmah, yukhaluna fi ghairi. Imam Shafi, he differs with us in other than the wiladi karabat. So he says, if you own your relative, it will be only those relatives, the father, grandfather, great grandfather, son, grandson. You understand? Goes down. Not only father, mother also, and then also daughter, granddaughter. It goes down. Right. Now, what's Imam Shafi'i is the lead to say that the other relatives, like your uncle, your brother, they are not included. He says there, لو أن ثبوت الإتك من غير مرضات المالك ينفيه القياس أو لا يقتضيه. Imam Shafi'i's dalil is that establishing freedom without the happiness of the owner, logic negates that or doesn't demand it. You understand it? In other words, it's khilaf qiyas as masla. That you, without the permission of the owner, suddenly now you own your son and now he must get free, but you're not happy to free him. You understand? Maybe. Well, ukhuwatu wa ma yulahiya nazilatun an qarabatil wiladi. And being a brother, or what is similar to being a brother, like being an uncle. You understand? That is less than the relative of being from Wilad. So when you go sideways now, brother, uncle, like that, it is lower in rank, Imam Shafi is saying, than your relative when you go up and down, straight up and straight down. You understand it? Right. فأمتني الإلحاق والاستدلال. So you can't join that up to this and to take the dalil that since that is allowed, the karabat of wilad is allowed, then the or rather is freed. Likewise, the karabat of the brother and the uncle in it also should be freed, right? ولهذا, and then he brings us a backup. لهذا امتنع التكاتب على المكاتب فغير الولاد ولم يمتنع فيه. And for this reason, becoming a mukatab upon a mukatab is prohibited in other than wiladi relatives, and it is not prohibited in the wiladi relatives. What does this mean? This means that if this person is a mukatab slave. Now, who's a mukatab? He's working for his freedom. He maybe has to pay 10,000 by a certain time, then he'll get his freedom, right? Then, while he's working for his freedom there, he purchases his son. He buys his son. What will happen? His son will automatically become a mukatab in his kitabat. He'll also be part of that mukatabat now. So what it means? That means now, when the time comes up and say you got the 10,000, he's got the 10,000. He gives the 10,000. Him and his son will go for free. Will go free. You understand it? But if he doesn't have the 10,000, he goes back into slavery, and his son goes with him into slavery. You got that now? So Imam Shafi says, see, even the Mukatab Masla, you agree with us there, that there's only Wiladi relatives that will join him in the Kitabat. The other relatives, like the brother and the son in it, they will remain as slaves in the possession of the Mukatab, genuine slaves. You understand it? So if Mukatab owns slaves, then what happens? That slaves is his stock. And that will help him to pay his Balla Kitabat, right? Walana ma rawayna. Our dalil is what we have narrated, right? That mamallaka dal mahrim minu utika alayh. ولأنه ملك قريبه قرابة مؤثرة في المحرمية فيعتق عليه. Because he had owned this close relative, such a relationship which has an effect in mahramiyah. In other words, is a relative and is also a mahram. So therefore will be freed. وهذا هو المؤثر في الأصل. And this is the thing that's creating the effect actually in the maslah, right? والولاد ملغا. And being one of the usul and furu, that is not the thing that's creating this whole effect here. You understand it? لأن هي التي يفترض وصلها. Because the karabat, this is the thing which joining it has become for us. In other words, when you're talking of maintaining family ties now, right? Then this is the thing that maintaining it, or rather joining it, you understand it, is for us. Not only the Wiladi relatives. Yes, Wiladi relatives, obviously we have to join it. But the other relatives also, this is also part of it, right? وَيَحْرُمُ قَطْعُهَا, and breaking it is haram. This is the type of relatives that you can't, it's haram for you to break off relationship with them. You understand it? حَتَّى وَجَبَتِ النَّفْقَةُ وَحَرُمُ النِّكَاحُ. So much so that nafaka also becomes wajib. Right? In other words, if your uncle is poor, then to the extent that you are going to inherit from him, that's the amount you have to pay towards his nafka. Right? And it's haram to marry him. If it's a girl, haram to marry her uncle. You understand it? Right. ولا فرق بينهما إذا كان المالك مسلما أو كافرا في دار الإسلام لعموم الإلة. Right. There's no difference between the two scenarios when the owner is a Muslim or kafir in Darul Islam, right? Due to the illat, and the reason being general, right? والمكاتب إذا اشترى أخاه ومن يجري مجراه لا يكاتب عليه, right? Right. Now we're answering this here now. What Imam Shafi'i says, ولهذا امتنع التكاتب على المكاتب في غير الولاد ولم يمتنع فيه, right? Assalamu alaikum. And the mukatab, when he purchases his brother and those who are similar to his brother, like his uncle, his maternal uncle, his paternal uncle, la yukatabu alay. So now, why isn't he also becoming a mukatab? Why isn't he becoming? What? That's a masla. They do not become mukatab together with the mukatab. Why? لأنه ليس له ملك تام. Because this mukatab slave himself doesn't have complete ownership. He's still a slave himself, right? Yeah. Which يقدره or يقدره على الإعتاق, which will give him the power to free his uncle or his brother. You understand? That's the reason that person doesn't become a mukatab with him. Well, if tirazu indal kudrati, and the becoming free, right? The or the masla is rather based when he has an ability to free, but here he doesn't have the ability to free, right? The masla is placed in the scenario where he has the ability to free. So that's why I say, "Man malaka dha rahimin mahramin minu utika alay." Whoever owns his rahimi relative, he becomes free. Why? Because he's got full ownership. He's got ability to free him. But here in this case, the mukatab himself is a slave, so he doesn't have the power to free them. Therefore, they won't be freed. بخلاف الولاد, right? لأن الإتك فيه من مقاصد الكتابة فامتنع البيع, right? فيعتق تحقيقا لمقصود الإتك, right? Now the question comes, okay, then how is it allowed in his wiladi relatives? What do you say? The mukatab, he purchases his brother, his son. That son goes into the kitabat with him. The son goes into the Akda kitabat with him. You understanding that? Right. So they say contrary to wiladi relative, because freedom in him is from the objective of the kitabat. So therefore, selling him is prohibited. So he will be freed to bring into reality the objective of the act of the transaction. What they saying here, see this mukatab here, right? He is trying to get his freedom now, right? Then he purchased his brother. Let's say he purchased his brother. So because his brother is not a wiladi relative, his brother don't go into that Aqd Kitabat. He can sell his brother because he needs money to pay for his Balda Kitab. So he can sell his brother, he can sell his uncle. But when it comes to his wiladi relatives, he can't sell them. But rather they will go into that Aqd Kitab. They can also work now. They also have to work to try and help him pay his kitab, because when he pays it, then they go free also. You understand it? So they go in there. So he says freedom. So what's the objective of kitabat here? He is now working in this year. Mukatab is trying to get his freedom, right? And he'll only be happy if he and his son and his father and his grandfather and his grandson is also going to be free with him. Otherwise, he becoming free and they being slaves, that goes against the whole objective of what he's trying to get. You understand it? A man will not be happy. You're falling asleep or what? No? Oh, you're concentrating. Because sometimes you're nodding, but I don't know, is it falling asleep or? I'm not sure now. Is your nodding just normal? What is it? Maybe shaking, normal shaking. So, right. So the the whole thing here is this Mukatab here, he will not be happy to be free on his own unless he takes his son also free and his father also free with him. So that's the actual objective of Kitabat, to get freedom for himself and then his wiladi relatives. But when it comes to his brother and his uncle and that, yes, he's allowed. They don't go into the Akta Kitabat with him. Rather, they will he can sell them. You understand? They go into total slavery. You understand? They like his commodity now. Right. Okay, leave it till there. You understood the difference there now? Why? When a person owns his relative there, there's a difference. Then automatically all of them become free, whether they wiladi or not wiladi. But when a mukata buys his relative, then they make a distinction between wiladi relative and ghair wiladi relative. That's the whole point here.
In that distinction,